reciting a poem called To This Day by Shane Kay. I chose this poem because of my experience when I was younger with bullying, and I feel like kids shouldn't be bullied. It's a bad thing. I dedicate this poem to my mother, Deanna. Thank you for being there for me since the time I was born. Here I go. When I was a kid, I used to think pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute, and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was afraid I'd get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise, and from there I was sent to the principal's office. And then I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her whenever I'm sad, my mother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from the house for 3 days, until they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story quickly spread around my school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme, about sticks and stones. As if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called them all. So we grew up believing that no one would ever fall in love with us. That would be lonely forever. That we never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built in no tool shed. So broken hearts blazed the blues as we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone, that an ingrown life is something that surgeons can cut away, that there's no way for it to metastasize. It does. She was 8 years old, our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of the classroom, stuck getting bombarded by spitballs, but school halls were a battleground and we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess, because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or standing still like statues, giving no clues that we were there. They taped a sign to her desk in grade 5 that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up less than half of her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom. Because they see her heart before they see her skin, that she's always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted. But not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when he became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Had a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence of being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, and 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 for a kid who could still go home to mom and dad, have the audacity to tell him, get over it. As if depression is something that could be remedied by any of the contents found in a first aid kit. To this day, he's a stick on TNT lit from both ends, could describe to you in detail the way the sky bends and when it's about to fall, and despite an army of friends who call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. The classics were, hey stupid, hey spaz. Seems like every school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks into a school and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Are they just the background noise of a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like kids can be cruel? Every school is a big top circus tent, and the pecking order goes from lion tamers, from acrobats, from clowns to carnies. All of these are miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. Lobster-clawed boys and bearded ladies, oddities, juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the winter parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was a practice, and yeah, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is debris, left over when we finally decide what we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer. Stare a little longer. Because there's something inside you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and you signed it. They were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not who we are called. We are not stalled cars out on a highway, and if in some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to get gas. We are graduating members from the class of We Made It, not the faded echoes of voices crying out, names will never hurt me. Of course, they did. But our lives will only continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.